All right. Fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. All right. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons for me, and most of all, hit the love button. And today I'm going to talk about something that's not really like all the way up my alley, but still something that I think that I need to address, and it's sex. And it's sex, and it's sex, and it's sex. And so somebody, I don't know, I guess because I say stuff, so I guess people feel like they could just say anything to me. And I guess that's a good thing, but then again, at some points, it is not. Because, sometimes I'm just not the one to really be like, taking stuff like whatever. And just like passing it off and just not saying nothing to you. So anyway, the reason why I want to talk about sex is because it's been like one of the major downfalls of my life. All right, so one of my major flaws is sex. All right, and let me explain what I mean by that. All right, so this guy, he makes a post that he says that being woke has nothing to do with sex. And so, and I'm just like, what? What is he talking about? Because obviously we're sexual beings. People have sex, or else there wouldn't be, what is it, like, 6 billion people on Earth. That means that at least 6 billion times people have had sex. And I can imagine more than that. So anyway, and here's what I mean by this. All right. Sex, first of all, sex starts at the root chakra. In fact, everything starts at the root chakra, your kundalini, okay? All of that stuff, everybody doesn't realize, but okay, so, and go back to something my wife says, it's like you have sex, you poop, and you pee all within like an inch of each other, right? It's all, and your kundalini energy is all like right there. All right, so your root chakra, your base energy is like right there. And so it's there for two reasons. It's a balance thing. And until you learn how to balance it all, then you can get in a lot of trouble, with your kundalini. Why? Because you don't have to have any intelligence. You don't have to be enlightened in order to, you can use the bathroom without being enlightened. That's how come kids who have, like a kid will say, yeah, well, if you have sex, you won't get pregnant, and a kid can have sex and won't know nothing about it, and then all of a sudden, come up pregnant and boom, boom, boom. So the first thing that you have to do, including in any type of energy, is you have to understand that you have to learn how to control and as the Quran says, you have to learn how to control your lower nature. All right, because people will revert back to their lower nature. All right. And so the control of your lower nature or your sexual energy is very important. Why? And I especially want to address this to the men. And see, because most of the time everybody will tell women, oh, don't have sex, save yourself till marriage, don't do this, be good, don't ever do this, don't ever do that. And women are taught to, to not be as open sexually as men are, but men, we get our sons or whatever, we're like, yeah, we look, oh, dang, did you hit it, and it's just like, so we hold everybody to a different standard. There is a double standard, but I'm here to tell you, because of my experiences, that we need to also hold our men and our sons to a higher standard, because I've been married 3 times. All right. Hopefully third time is a charm. I love you, baby. But a lot of it just came because of the fact that it was no control over my root chakra. It was the fact, because that's the difference between you picking literally picking a wife and just picking somebody who is, who you might just have good sex with. All right. And here's the thing. the thing is, when it comes down to men, all right, men in this society, and I'm not saying this is, this goes across the board with everything, but in the United States of America, in this society, having the wrong woman or having sex with the wrong woman or being hooked up or married to the wrong woman can be catastrophic. It can literally ruin your life. And I saw where former NBA player Steven Jackson was talking about the same thing, how he spent millions of dollars in child support and millions of dollars, and a lot of his children. I have children that I don't see. I have a son. I'm be very transparent. I have a son that I don't see because his mother is mad at me. Not because I don't love him, not because I don't want him, not anything like that. I love him, but she won't let me see him. And and I'm still, according to the court system, I'm still required to pay child support. All right. So that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It's like, look, the white, you remember how that old saying goes, happy wife, happy life, and not going out and having all of these multiple relationships with multiple women. And even in polygamy, even if you want to talk about it from a polygamous standpoint, the ancient way of polygamy was not just about sex. It was about kingdom building and building businesses and building families. Okay, that was the purpose behind polygamy. Polygamy, as like right now, everybody just want, I got, it's almost, oh, I got a whole bunch of women and this, that, and that thing. That's not what polygamy was made for. Polygamy was made so that you could have, so that the woman would not only, and the children would have help, because what? There's safety in numbers. And no matter what we say about it, during slavery times and during the Dark Ages, the Caucasians used polygamy as a method in order to grow their plantations. Okay, because they had marriages that they didn't call marriages, but they were still marriages. They were having children by their slaves, all right, by their female slaves. And some of them were having sex with their male slaves. So let's not get the game twisted. Polygamy was outlawed and banned because of the fear of the aristocracy. The aristocracy was afraid that, because take for instance, say I had 20 wives, and each of my wives gave me 2 sons. And I had 40 sons. All of them, Judson Powell. It was a George Foreman that named all his kids George or something like that. Well, it would be hard for you to keep my family down because I had so many people that were backing me or whatever. The same thing would be true even if we were just in business. If we say we had a family farm or any type of family business, well, if I got 40 sons, I got ready-made labor. I got to feed them anyway. So if I feed them and I clothe them and we do what we have to do, and basically that's how that was the plantation system, except for the sons were bought and sold. They were just bought and paid for. And all it was that they figured out a way to circumvent the universal law of action or the universal law of work. Because you have to put action or you have to put work into everything, or else nothing happens. And so that's how they came across being able to run the plantation system. It was just like, hey, if I get a whole bunch of people and they all work for me for free, then I could just stock up money. Because there's no overhead. The only overhead I have is what? I have to feed them. And then if I got a whole bunch of, and I'm already growing crops, I'm already growing food, and, I got a bunch of people that can, cook the food for them and all of that. So you get what I'm trying to say. But here in this society in 2020, a man that is irresponsible, and I mean, and it's put out there in the media constantly, and that's how come we have all this stuff. Oh, you're a deadbeat dad, or and it's also a part and parcel to them trying to break up families. Just like if like my wife says all the time, if there was no welfare system, women would stay with their men. You know that, and once again, that's what Oprah was put into place for in the '80s. Oprah was put in place to let black women know that, hey, you don't need a man. You know, the government will take care of you. You don't need a man. If he makes one mistake, get rid of him. If he does this, that, or the other thing, get rid of him. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, you know, and then the next part is the music industry and all of that. They overplay and over sexualize everything. Everything is over. I mean, the other night I walked in and what was they watching? They were literally watching. I think it was like one of them reality shows, and it's like every girl that came on the screen, her boobs were out. I mean, they weren't like literally completely out, but they might as well have been. And I'm going, okay, so now if you're a teenage boy and you're seeing all these boobs like out on TV, it's going to affect you in some kind of way. It's not going to be non-effective on you. It's going to affect you. And so that's what I'm trying to say. So you got to be careful. So now and the culture, you know, the and I'm telling you, the music and the rap culture, that's what it's made for. There is no other, you know, all they talk about is what? Getting women, getting money, getting cars, and that's it. But no integrity, no nothing that has to do with you know, with how to do things in a proper and right manner. No etiquette, no, you know, nothing like that. You know, it's just straight up, you know, okay, go out there and get whatever you get. And the girls are taught the same way. You know, the girl who can twerk the best is, you know, she's the queen of the hill. You know, and that's how come. So that's how come you get the Cardi B's and the Nicki Minaj's and the Stallions and all of these people. That's where you get. That's how come they're out there. Why do you think these people are at the top? Do you really believe that they're like the best singers? Do you really? I mean, there are literally girls in church, right? But there are who can outsing all of them. But she's not going to show her breasts, or she's not going to twerk, or do whatever, you know, and that's it. So when you think about these things, so it's an over sexualization of everything, and it's what is it to do to make you want sex? All right, same thing with that's why they put drugs in the songs. You know, the rap game is basically a advertisement for drugs. Or liquor, you know, Pastor Cavassier, you know, Alizé, you know, all these things, and y'all, and it's so, you know, or you know, whatever. It's all done subliminally. And sometimes it's done overtly, but it's all done for the same reason. So you have to be careful, and we have to start teaching our boys, like, look, you got to be careful, you know, who you go around sleeping with. Because it will ruin your life and it will affect your life. It's going to affect your life. And I'm saying this from a man that has been affected by it. It will affect your life. And the other thing is, and the saddest part, and I, you know, trying to be transparent about it is that when you're going through it, you don't realize, but you're also hurting these women. You're also hurting them. You're making them feel a certain kind of way, or they might love you. They might legitimately be in love with you because sex triggers certain chemical reactions and psychological and spiritual reactions. And you don't realize it because you might just be thinking, oh, I'm a player, I'm a pimp, I'm a hustler. And they're thinking, this is my man, I love him. So we got to become more cognizant of this stuff. So for him to say that, you know, that sex and spirituality are different. No, they're not. They're in fact, they're probably two of the most intertwined things ever. Because sex is spiritual. Just like we say, saying words is sowing. Well, how do you get sex? How do you get sex from a girl? You got to talk to her. You gotta tell her something. Oh, baby, you look good. You look pretty today. You gotta say something. Most of the time, you just don't sit there and she'll walk up and and it goes down. So young men, please, and mothers and fathers, start teaching your kids that because it takes away our generational wealth. because all of them marriages, the split marriages, and all that stuff, it destroys our generational wealth because the money is going to the lawyers and the court system. It ain't going to your children. And look it up. But most of the kids that are on child support end up living below the poverty level. They never really prosper from that. The state prospers from it, but you don't. Anyway, fastest 15 minutes is up. I went over my time. I love all of y'all. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons, and make sure that you talk to your boys.